Matcha.
Ooh,
Mm.
yum. Well, welcome to another episode of Uncle Cousin. Hello, I'm Brian Ibbett. This is my niece, Rae. Rainy.
Hi.
How are you? How was your week?
This week was really good. Really good and
Good.
very chaotic. We had a lot of performances this week, so that was really something.
Is it like all timing where you'll get a week where it's like all prep and then just bad timing that all the performances land on the same weekend or the same week?
Um, no, it's just all of our professors kind of have the same timeline for their process.
Mm. Hmm.
So it just so happens that like every 3 weeks or so, we should be off book for 4 to 6 different scenes, in obviously different classes with very different characters,
Right.
so that we can perform for our classmates. Nobody's on stage yet. Nobody's on stage yet,
Oh,
but
but there will
um,
be there will be. I mean, I guess obviously there has to be. It's acting school. There will be stage stuff, but that'll even happen in this first year, in this first semester.
yeah, so our first like actual audition for an opportunity in front of a live audience, like
Hmm.
really being on stage, is with Dot in the Box, which is the third year of Circle in the Square Theater School.
Okay.
So once you go through the first 2 years, everybody from the second year will audition for principal opportunities.
Hmm.
And then a select few people will get chosen for Dot in the Box, which is our principal theater company.
It's a very
And
clever
then
play on
you,
circle in the square.
Precisely,
Yeah. Yeah.
precisely. And they do a lot of like performances for children, for children's theater, high
Okay.
schoolers, things like that, to kind of get younger kids motivated in the arts and that kind of thing.
Hmm.
So the first one they're doing is Midsummer Night's Dream, which is my favorite Shakespeare play.
Hmm.
And we have auditions for that next Thursday. So
Okay.
yeah,
Nice. Oh,
nobody will be a main character. Those are reserved for Dot in the Box. That's okay by me.
sure. Yeah,
But
sure.
man, hoping I get Cobweb. That would be cool. One of
Those
the fairies.
remind me. Oh, the fairy. Okay, right. Yes, it's been a while since
Yeah.
I've seen Midsummer Night's Dream. We saw that for Boulder has that Shakespeare. It's not Shakespeare in the Park. What do they call it? They call it shoot. It's on the CU campus. Anyway, they do 12 nights of Shakespeare, and
Oh,
they even
very
have
cool.
signs on the street that goes by the college saying, "Don't honk your horns. Shakespeare might be going on,"
Oh, I love that.
which is really
Yeah,
fun.
that'll really throw them off
Yeah.
their game in the forest.
To be, beep, beep, or not to be,
To beep or not to
to beep
beep?
or not to
That
beep.
is the
That should
question.
be that should be on the signs. It should say to beep or not to beep, and with not to beep.
No honking, please. Thank
Right. I
you.
love that. Yeah. Um, all right. Well, I want to hear. Let's talk about any new things that happened in classes this week. Oh, well, I'll tell you this. We saw your professor, Mark Nelson, watched Friday the 13th for another podcast that I do,
Yeah,
and
heck yeah.
there he was in all of his shirtless glory and getting an
With his one line and his death scene. My
That's
boy.
right, exactly.
Woo!
Yes, no chance of a sequel.
No, no, Mark Nelson will not be returning for Friday the 13th, 2 through 14. I'm not sure which one we're on now,
Yeah,
but
it's pretty close. I think 12. I want to say there's been 12 of them, based on one of the things that the one of my co-hosts said. So it's
fantastic.
sad to realize how not far you off in the number of Friday the 13th there have been.
Right, and the fact that there's only been 12 is kind of like a missed
Kind
opportunity,
of
but
should at least end on a 13, right?
none of my business. What do I
Yeah,
know?
like Friday the 13th, the 13th.
Yeah, and that's how I'm gonna get my first deal at an agency or movie production studio and walk in there and be
It's
like,
it's
this might be crazy.
yeah, an
Hang in
idea
there
one.
with
Let
me,
me
but what
let me
about
let
the
me pitch this to
13th,
you.
Friday the 13th?
Here's my elevator pitch. Friday the 13th, 13.
It's a sequel, it's a classic, it could be a remake. You guys will eat that
Yeah.
up. That's all we
Yeah.
make now, right? So let's go for it.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's
So
dance, boys.
and then Mark can, somehow he survived the arrow to the head. I'm trying to remember how he died. Yeah, it was an arrow to the head, I think, or to the neck or
Mm,
something. Kevin Bacon
yeah.
also got an arrow to the neck.
2 degrees of separation. We're
That's
so
right.
close.
Exactly. Yes. All right, so tell me what else happened in class this week?
Well, the one class that is like genuinely just so far out there as far as like an acting class and exactly the kind of like, oh, I walked into an acting class and there were a bunch of people running around acting like chickens is Neutral Mask.
Okay.
And
Oh
last
yeah.
week we imitated toddlers. This
Okay.
week was adolescents.
Oh.
And yeah, it was so I tend to go upstairs. I'm not gonna lie, I told Chris this week too. I really struggle with neutral mask. First of all, masks generally
Mm-hmm.
not a huge fan.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes
Sure.
yes, sometimes no. Really depends on the mask.
Sure.
Blank masks with no emotion or humanoid content whatsoever, aside from a nose and eye holes,
Mm-hmm.
0 stars. Not a fan.
Not a fan at all. Okay.
Not a
Yeah.
fan. Worse than that is the paper mache ones, which luckily all of my classmates are female and prefer aesthetics and have not gone for those.
Okay. Good. Good.
Thankfully,
Yeah.
blessed.
You just have to make your way to the place where you select your mask slowly enough that they grab all of those first and get
Mhm.
them out of the way. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I would rather be the one wearing them so I don't have to see it
Yeah,
because
sure.
it is
Oh, sure. Yeah. Grotesque.
awful.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. It's like it's what I imagine Homer Simpson would look like if he was redrawn by one of those like horror artists with like
Okay.
the really textured skin and the
Yeah.
crazy nose, and it's just uncanny valley. I,
That
I
same
can't
yellow,
do it.
that same orange yellow for the mask too, probably.
It's a very yellow peach.
Yeah.
It's very yellowy, peachy, oddly
Okay.
painted, very, and it's very vibrant. Like skin tones are very neutral
Yeah.
and they're very like colorful. It's just
Sure.
a lot of things are off. So, um, this week we were doing observing adolescents and then portraying them with no words.
Mm-hmm.
And
Still have the
I go
pile of
upstairs.
trash, by the way. Still have the props, the pile of
We
trash
did
props.
have the Symphony of Trash was there,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay. Good.
indeed.
All right. Please
Indeed.
continue.
And that came in handy
Oh,
for
did
our
it?
dance scenes. So that was great.
Okay. I'll let you
Um
continue. Sorry.
yeah, you're okay. And so I like to go upstairs. I like to journal before so that I like track what I'm feeling before the class and how I feel after the class
Mhm.
and
Hmm.
kind of like just get in the right headspace for it so that I'm not an obstruction to myself or others
Yeah.
by not wanting to participate, which is my knee jerk reaction. Um, and so I was up there for the last few minutes of the class before us, and they were doing the same assignment. And so listening to their recap, it was drama. It
Mhm.
was bullying, there was peer pressure to smoke and do drugs. It was like really intense.
One
There were
after
like
school
full-on
special
fights
after
that
another,
happened.
basically. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. A lot of like
Yeah.
grunting and pointing and like fist shaking and clickiness, and which is honestly very accurate to my high school experience. So I was like, okay,
Right.
great, we get to relive this. That'll be fun. We And then my group comes upstairs and we do the same assignment. And within 3 minutes, maybe, we're all playing keep away or like monkey in the middle
Mm.
together.
Mhm.
He was like, what if there's a dance? And like threw a new prompt out. And so then we all like went over to the trash pile and started like making outfits for each other, doing each other's hair and nails. And like when the dance came, we were all dancing together and having fun and like just goofing off, and I spiked the punch, but nobody wanted to drink it with me, which was rude.
Okay.
Um whatever.
Yeah.
But then they did pills with Genie. It's fine. I don't care. Whatever.
To each
And
their own.
to each their
They
own. I was
forget the
like,
classics.
"Oh." I was like, "Wow, you guys really skipped the liquor phase and just went straight for the hard stuff. That's fine."
Right. Right.
Noted. Kids these days, they just grow up so fast, you
Yeah.
know?
Who needs a gateway?
Um
Yeah.
who needs a gateway when you can just hop the fence? It's fine.
Right.
Who
Exactly.
cares?
Yeah.
Um, and so when we were doing our recap, I was like, oh my God, I was just so relieved, you know, and it was very much in high school fashion. I was just like so relieved that there weren't any cliques and that we all got along so well and we just like played well together. And then about half the group went, and I was like, what? And they were like, there were definitely cliques. And then I was
Hmm.
like, oh. And in true high school fashion, I missed all of that, apparently. So I was just like, oh,
Really?
we
Oh,
all
interesting.
interpreted that very differently. Okay,
Because
okay.
all of this has to be done completely silently, wordlessly. Again, you've got the masks on, so there's no,
Yeah. You
um,
can't grunt, you
you
can't make
can't.
any noise, you can
Yeah.
only use your breath.
So it's right, and so you're having to convey. I guess you convey clicks by clustering together, and maybe shunning people who try to join the cluster.
Yeah,
Is that?
exactly.
Wow.
It's like a very physical, like, I'm not going to play with this person. I'm not going to give this person the ball, like that kind
Right.
of thing. But I
Interesting.
thought
Okay.
people were just being like competitive. I was like, I
Hmm.
didn't see that as clicky.
Hmm.
But everybody else interpreted it as very clicky. And I was like, oh, whoops. Oh, well. I had a lovely time.
Oh, good. Good. Well, that's amazing. That class fascinates me. Just the fact that it's like it just forces you to improvise in ways that you can't use the easy methods of improvisation, your voice, your
Right.
expressions, things like that. You have to do it completely with body language and stuff like that. That's amazing.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
mean, me silent for an hour and a half, incredible.
That is
Incredible.
incredible. So
I was like, wow.
is it really like for the full, you walk in, the teacher tells you what you're going to be doing. All right, we're going to be doing adolescence. Go get your
Mhm.
masks. Here's the pile of trash. Now you're going to be silent for the next 90 minutes. Is really kind of like that,
Yeah,
or
so once
wow,
you have
okay.
the mask on, silence
Yeah.
all the way through, and then once
Wow,
the mask is
okay.
off, you can talk again. Mhm.
Interesting. Okay.
Fascinating.
Yeah, no kidding.
Chaos.
All right, cool. Any other great class stories from this week?
Yeah, well, okay, so I have one professor who's like a real like hard ass. Like
Okay.
and I appreciate him for it because I feel like there's way more directors of that style in the industry than
Sure.
our lovely Mark Nelsons who are so warm and inviting. Um Mark Barford, and he's the executive producer for the Australian theater festival here in New York that
Okay.
travels around and stuff. But he's incredible. And he's just very intense. He's very strict. Like on time is late, 5 minutes early is on time. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
should be in the room so we can start at the time
At the
that this
time.
class is
Sure.
scheduled for,
Sure.
not 5 minutes after. Um, and he's very much like, this is your guide, like this is your timeline. So like say I want you to be off book by the third round. What he's really saying is I want you to be almost completely off book by the second round.
Third round is late.
Third round is late.
Yeah.
Third round is late.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
And it's just because like, and I mean, I agree with it in all fairness. And if I was a director, I'd probably be the same way. And it's like the sooner you're off book, the more we can play with.
Mm,
So it's like if you're almost completely off book by the second round of performances or working the scene,
mhm.
he can give you really insightful stuff to work on about tempo or intonation or like where your emotional background is before you get to the final performance. But if you're waiting until that third performance, you're not
Mm,
getting that feedback until after that. And then by that time, we're moving on to another scene.
sure.
So
Sure.
it's just like, it's really him testing, like, okay, not only are you going to do what I'm asking you to do, but are you going to do it in a way that actually benefits everyone in the room and like the entire production as a whole? Which of course is my goal. That's what I want to be because that's how I get signed to an agency after all of this is
Of
done. So
course.
I've
Yeah.
got my head on straight, right? And so I was working on memorization and I was in the student lounge, which is the loudest room in the school for
Okay.
obvious reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
People come in hyped from clown or ballet or jazz or whatever, and they're just like
Full volume
telling, yeah.
chatting. Sure.
And
Yeah.
most of them are between 18 and 20. I would say probably 50 to 60% of our class is between the ages of 18 and 22.
Mhm.
So just a very excitable age range coming from me, and I'm a very loud person myself, but it's like it's a lot even for me to be
Yeah.
around. And it's a little cement shoebox, so that noise isn't going
Probably
anywhere.
no real acoustic absorption or anything. It's
None
just gonna
at all.
ricochet and bounce around until yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
literally that velvet couch is at full saturation. It is not soaking up any other noise.
Sure. Sure.
And I like, can we get just a rug, like a couple rugs, a few layered rugs,
Something.
maybe
Yeah.
something would be great. I don't want to vacuum those though, so no. Um, and so I'm sitting there and like I'm in class or like at the desk, like just writing down my lines, got my headphones in, try not to listen, and then it finally gets quiet, and I'm like, ah, finally I can focus. And then I look up at my phone and I was like, oh, that's because everyone went to class. It's time for class
Oh
and I'm supposed
shoot.
to go.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I hustle, I grab everything. I'm probably going to be like 1 minute early or just like right on the dot.
Uh-huh.
And Mark, when somebody isn't in the class, he just waits outside the door in the hallway
Oh,
to
jeez.
stare at you with
Yeah. To
disappointment and
really
fury in his eyes.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it really does. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Very
Which is
sad.
far worse. Much worse. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it feels terrible. And these two of my classmates who are early for their class that's on the opposite side of the school
Mhm.
are just like shoulder to shoulder. It
Mm.
is a very narrow hallway, shoulder to
Uh-huh.
shoulder, just taking their sweet
A
time in
moving
front
little
of me.
roadblock. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Mark, Mark's looking at me, I'm looking at them, I'm looking back at Mark. Mark's hasn't taken his eyes off me.
Uh-huh.
I'm like,
Oh no.
great. And
Oh
then
well,
he goes,
shoot.
"You're late." And one of the girls in front of me, Eliza, goes, "I'm not in your class right now." And he looks at her and goes, "Which is why I'm not talking to you." And then she turns around and they were like, "Oh, sorry." And I was like, "Thank you." And I went inside and he was like, on time is late.
Yeah.
Right. Everyone
Yeah.
knows this? Okay, great. And I was just like red in the face. I was
I'm
like, oh my
sure. Oh, that's rough. Oh my
God.
God.
I could tell you that I was practicing lines for your class, but you don't want to hear that.
Yeah,
You don't
that's
want to
not
hear
an
that.
excuse. Exactly. You
She's like,
know,
"Did you have a class before this?" And I have like a coffee in my hand that I got 45 minutes earlier.
yeah.
And I was like, I was literally here the whole time, Mark. I
The
just was so excited to have a moment of peace. I just lost track of time.
right, right. It was like, oh, the yeah. So the at least, you're getting it out of the way early enough in the semester now that you've gotten your uh your bad experience that's going to make it so you never do that again early, as opposed to, later in the semester.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I guess it's the
Yeah,
positive way
one
of looking at
everything's a
it.
test. Everything's a
Right,
test. I keep
right.
trying to explain this to my classmates because it is so for some of them it's part of their BFA program,
Mhm,
but it is a very specific type of BFA. So it's like the circle and square portion is a professional workshop whether you're in the BFA or not,
mhm.
but if you're in the BFA, it's an addition, right? And so a lot of these students are thinking like basically, oh, well, it's part of my degree program. They're not going to kick me out unless I'm not like, you know, showing up, I guess, or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Sure.
Which is not the case. It's not the case at all. And I like keep trying to point out to them that the first years we have like 28 people, 26 people, something like that.
Mhm.
The second years have like 14.
Oh, really? Okay. From people
Yes.
they probably started 20 in their first years, and then 14. Half of them
Yeah,
said, I
they
can't do
lost
this anymore. And
6 people from
okay.
last year.
Oh, really?
6
That's it.
people
Okay.
6 people were either didn't come back by personal choice
Mhm.
or were asked not to return to the
Oh,
program.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. And, and it's not always a negative ting. It's not always a
Not a
negative thing.
negative ting
Some
man. Yeah.
not a negative ting. Sometimes it is, I imagine. But for some people, it's just like we don't think that you're getting out of this program what you need from us, so there's no point in
Sure.
us taking more money from you. At least that's how Jean describes it, and I trust her, so why
Mhm.
not?
Mhm.
Um, always trust your authoritarian figures, right? And
Right. In this case, they
um,
probably know. They're probably like, yeah, we can tell this person is
yeah.
not going anywhere for sure.
The vibes aren't right, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
The vibes aren't right. And so I like keep trying to point that out to them to be like, I get that you guys feel some sort of like security with the fact
Mhm.
that you're coming from a college program, but that doesn't mean much here. And the sooner you get comfortable in this industry with a complete lack of security, the more successful you're going to be
Sure.
because there is no such thing. That is not a thing here. We
Mhm.
don't do that here.
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Good. Good.
'Cause I mean, even once you're on stage, you audition, you get the lead role, you're like locked in, you've been performing for 3 months on stage already. There is still an understudy
Mhm.
waiting,
Just is gonna
waiting for
snatch your
you
role, yeah,
to
to screw up or do something or get
right.
plucked off the stage. Do they have
Exactly.
those hooks like at the Apollo that, they can just pull
Yeah.
you off stage?
The metaphorical shepherd's staff to
Right,
yank you
yes.
off stage left. Yeah.
Exactly, yes. Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. So, but then I also don't want to be like the Reaper constantly looming in the corner being like, nothing is
Well,
promised.
right, because then you can't really give your all because you're worried about that
Yeah.
thing behind you, and you can't give your full performance. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably good preparation for life in that industry that, there is always going to be um an understudy or an actor who's going to take your place if you can't do it. So it's
Yes. Yeah.
it's probably less about um how do you not or how do you give your all and not think about that reaper behind you, more like how do you just get used to the reaper behind you and still give your all is probably the
Exactly.
way to do
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
because it's like the best way to keep the Reaper at bay is to show up, be on time, have
Yeah.
an idea, and participate. And it really is that simple.
Hmm.
But people struggle following directions.
Hmm.
I'm late for taping, and I am in my own home, so there are so there's lots of obstacles, a lot of very simple obstacles that can be bigger if you make them so.
Sure, sure.
Um, but it's also like the the industry is really challenging, and I don't want to be that person that's like, I mean, talking to like some 20 something year old that has dedicated their whole life to theater thus far and
Mm.
we're in every high school production and every middle school production and summer theater and came here for this um and have it in their mind that they're going to be getting consistent work right away. But it's also like, be prepared for that to not be the case,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Hmm.
but it's also just very different, like coming at it from my life perspective versus theirs, because they've only ever been in school. That's all
Hmm.
they've ever done
Hmm.
up to this point. And I have lived a whole life since
You've
then and come back. So it's a very different experience. So it's like I am only a few years older than them, but it feels like eons
you've done a
sometimes.
lot in those few years. You've
Yeah.
lived in a couple different states.
Yeah.
You've traveled a ton. You've had your own businesses that you've done. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, that's you
I
come
used
to it
to
with
work.
a very cool, different preparation, different set of skills that um, I don't see how any of that can't benefit you. So
Right.
it's a good thing.
So much life experience to pull from. They're like, wow, like you really were able to connect to that emotion, which was why I gave you that part, because I wanted to challenge you a bit and see like where that range could be compared to
Right.
the last scene. And I was like, oh, you were this iceberg baby,
I've got a ton. I've got a ton to tap into. Let me know what you want.
ton to
Yeah,
tap into.
yeah.
I
You
was like,
want
I'm an onion, I
experiences?
got layers.
Exactly.
Start digging, Mark.
All right. Well, let's shift gears. And you had chatted with Tina earlier this week, and she said that
Yeah.
ask Rainey about her car. So
Oh, yes. Yes, I sold my car. Morticia, RIP. I'm gonna miss her so much.
mm.
Morticia the Mazda. Um, yeah, I think about her a lot. She was a great car. She held in there for me. Fun to drive,
Sure.
cute on the inside, sporty, fun, fast.
Yeah.
My lead foot won't let me have any other kind of car.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Uh-huh.
it's got to be zippy.
And you don't need
And
New York is a city where you don't need a car. Like the
no,
so many options for transportation, the subway, whatever, your taxis.
I
Yeah.
think I used like because when I sold her, she had like a little over half a tank of gas, like one bar over half a tank.
Mhm.
And it was a digital gas tank for those listening. And and all of that gas, because she was full when I got her there. I filled up
Mm,
before I left Jersey the last day just to make sure
right.
she had a full tank. And I drove from 30 minutes from Jersey to my place here in New York. That definitely was not a lot of gas. I'm pretty sure it was still full by the time I got here.
Mhm.
The other quarter tank, two quarters tank that I used was just moving my car
Out of bad parking spaces
out
into
of
new parking
parking
spaces.
spaces that won't work while I'm at school to a new parking space and then around late. It was ridiculous. It's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
silly. That's so silly. I was literally only driving it to move it. And then I was like, this is insane.
It's more of an
Um,
anchor. Like basically, it's the problem. It's
it
like,
is.
yeah,
It
yeah,
really is. It
yeah.
was such a hindrance. And it's like there was a a free parking garage that I was able to use because of the school. They're like, if you have a car, let us know. We'll get you a
Mm.
parking pass,
Oh,
yada yada,
cool.
whatever. So that's great. But and I don't know why I didn't use that more often. But anyways, because I didn't want to deal with it.
Yeah,
Because the
right.
traffic is crazy. And everything's kind of one-way streets because New York is so old. It was never built to have this many cars.
Sure.
And so I would say majority of streets are one way. And if you miss your turn, you're
You're
looping
going two or
back
three
over and
blocks
over
before you can
again.
do it again.
And
Y-
before you know it, you're like blocked off because they're, recording an episode of SVU outside of a jail that you didn't even realize was 3 blocks from your school. Real story, true story.
Great.
Um,
Oh, wait. Excellent.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, this whole block is going to be shut down from this time to this time. Any vehicles that are not here will be towed at the owner's expense, blah, 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 blah. Thank you, stage team. Law and Order SVU. And I was like, Mariska, just kidding. I do love her. But yeah, and so it's just kind of a pain in the butt. And then the
Yeah.
traffic's crazy because if they're not moving like 4 or 5 blocks down,
Hmm.
you're not moving
Hmm.
because there's no way for the other cars that are in between the two of you to go, and
Right,
it's
right.
always
They're
bumper to
stopped,
bumper.
and yeah.
And
Plus,
I
I
just
mean,
like
you
sounds
probably
like
also
a waste of
and
gas.
yeah, I was gonna say, and you're having to deal with car insurance. You're having to deal with, all these other payments that go along with the car. Sure, you might have free parking at school, but you want to have free parking by your apartment. So
Yeah.
that, there's all these expenses for something that you don't need.
Right.
Yeah.
And my first ticket was because I was parked 2 inches too close to a fire hydrant.
Mm,
Should I have probably thought that? Yes. Do I have any interest in getting involved in the New York court system at all? No.
yeah,
No, I do
sure.
not. Mm-mm.
Oh,
And
geez. How much was
so
the ticket for parking too close to a fire?
$115.
Jeez. Okay.
And I was
Yeah.
like, you guys are out of your minds. That's
Someone
crazy.
went out there with a measuring stick, like, oh, yeah, she's 2 inches
Oh,
over the line.
oh, so close. Yeah, as it
Yeah.
turns out, a lot of men think 2 inches is quite enough, which is incredibly disrespectful.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, buddy, the first 2 inches that I'm actually feeling, that's crazy."
Okay.
That's insane.
I don't need to hear this.
Um, but it was yeah, and I was like, okay, so I paid the ticket, right? And
Mhm,
I was just like talking to some of my friends that are from here, and they're like, "Oh, that's just your first of many. If you have a car here, like they're like, honestly, for the first 3 months,
mhm.
you're probably gonna get 5 or 6 tickets." And they're not exaggerating because they're like, that was my experience before I got rid of my car
Jeez.
or paid to have just the parking spot. Because once you get 5 or 6 tickets, now the $700
Mhm,
per month parking cost in a garage where you never have to move it unless you want to
mhm.
suddenly seems reasonable. I didn't want to get to that point. I
Yeah,
said, no, thank you.
yeah.
And so there was a CarMax in Jersey. I was very motivated to buy it. And the worst part about that process was literally the traffic, the drive over there.
Oh, really?
That was it. Yeah, because I got there and they like inspected the car and they were like, "What you put on there was truthful." And I was like, "Of course." And they were like, "So does the amount we agreed on work?" And I was like, "Can you give me any more?" And they're like, "That's not how CarMax works." And I said, "That's fine." We signed the
Worth a
paperwork.
shot?
They gave me a check,
Yeah,
and yeah, they gave me
yeah.
a check and then called me a lift for free
Hmm.
home. So
Oh, that's nice. Threw in a ride back home for free, as they should.
yeah,
I think that's a good trade-off.
yeah. So shameless plug. Hey, if you're out here in Jersey and you need to sell your car, go talk to Mickey at the CarMax in Wayne.
Please
She's gonna
tell
have
me
you back.
it's really a Mickey. It's really a Mickey at CarMax.
Yeah, her name is really Mickey.
Nice.
And she's not even from there. She's from New Mexico.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well,
so she's like, yeah, the weather here is very different. She's like, I don't like humidity. And I was like, under no circumstances should you ever go to Houston.
yeah.
Don't do
Oh
it.
God, yeah, no
No,
kidding.
you'll
Not
melt
if
on
you
the
don't
spot.
like humidity. How long you were in Houston for 4 years? 5 years?
Um,
Longer than
for
maybe
8 years this last
wow.
bout, and then
Okay.
4 years in high school.
That's right.
So
Wow.
14, 15 altogether, I think. Can't do the math on that in my brain.
Nope.
Nope. 12?
Good you're
No.
going to yeah, it's closer. It's good you're going to acting school
Mm.
and not
Tell me about
MIT.
it. And they have me in music theory, and that has math too. And
Oh,
it's
it
like,
does, yeah.
oh, for God's sakes. But music theory is a lot of fun too. And then I went to, well, I just saw a production of something. Oh yeah, I
Oh.
went to see Just in Time at the theater,
Oh, cool, which is the
above my
one yeah,
school.
it's the theater above you guys with, Broff, Jonathan Broff.
Jonathan Groff.
Groff,
Yes,
oops,
yes,
Groff, oops, yeah.
indeed. Oh, that's not what you said. I
I
didn't
said
catch it.
Broff. I
Anyway,
said I said it with a B
Broff.
instead of a G. Groff, yes.
Jonathan Brof. That's
Brof.
my brof. Yeah, no, it was really, really good. I actually got to see the last showing that had the original casting,
Mm,
with Gracie Abrams. She has moved on to
oh,
another production, I believe.
okay.
And so she was just replaced by another incredible vocalist whose name I have not learned. So sorry. The posters haven't gone up, and I'm not like everyone else. I don't know this already. I have to do my research.
Yeah.
But it was so fun. And there is this, I guess, like, I mean, Jonathan Groff's been in theater for a while, right? Because he was King George
Mhm,
in Hamilton.
mhm.
And apparently, this is very well known, but he's a spitter. He is a spitter. They
Oh,
call the
really?
whole
Like
front section the splash zone.
oh god.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, that was really something. So we rushed tickets so that we poor students could afford standing room tickets,
Sure,
which were
sure.
$40, and you get in line at 6 or 7 a.m. and
Mhm.
then you wait for the box office to open at 10:30, and you can buy up to 2 tickets for $40 each.
Oh my god, so you're out there waiting for 3 to 4 hours to get these.
Yeah, which luckily my other friends are also theater students and it's right above our school, so
Oh.
we're just, like, doing homework,
Oh, yeah,
chatting,
that's true,
like, goofing
actually.
off.
Yeah. You could
Yeah,
you're
and,
just getting
like,
to
if
school a
any of
few
us need to
hours
use the
early and
bathroom, we just call another student from the school and be like, "Hey, can you come up and hold my place and rush?" And they come, and then we switch out again, and,
nice.
it was fun. It was a really good time, and it gave us time to bond and get excited about the show. But yeah, he takes, like, mouth-watering mints beforehand, which is smart because I mean, imagine if
Yeah,
your mouth gets dry, that's probably rough,
for
you know?
sure. Yep.
Um, Cheech and Chong come after the show, and then everybody's favorite visitors,
Right.
and, he will, like he'll do a dance move and, like, throw his head back, and it's just like a
A spray?
like yeah, like a spit take, and it's insane, and he
Really?
does it artistically, like, I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
he timed it perfectly, he was under certain lights so you could see it happen, it was like, he's really owning this part of his
That's wild.
performance
Okay,
style.
because when you
It's
described
cracking
that,
me up.
I thought, alright, if you're doing a scene with him, you're constantly like, "Yep, uh-huh, nope," you're you're acting against
Yeah,
him,
mhm,
constantly wiping
mhm,
your face. That's
mhm.
that's what I thought you meant when you described it. Okay.
Yeah. The mic is dripping wet. It
Is
is
it?
just soaked. Um, and he's playing Bobby Darin, the whole thing is a biopic about
Oh, it
Bobby
is,
Darin and his
okay.
life.
Alright.
And it's beautifully done. I cried a lot,
Mhm.
for 2 reasons. 1, because there were a lot of very emotional moments,
Yeah,
and 2, because it's like, this stage is upstairs, and for legal reasons, this is a joke, I may or may not have snuck onto the stage a couple of times
sure.
when there's not a
When there's
performance,
not production
just
going on, of
to be
course,
like,
why not? Why wouldn't you?
tiptoe in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I have totally not done that, Gene, if you're listening. I've never done that. I would never do
Yes,
that,
no,
I
that's
assure
that's
you.
that's a
That's
hypothetical gone on
probably
stage.
against the
Yes.
rules. Nobody's told me otherwise, but I don't know, something feels off limits about it.
Sure, sure.
And, it's just so it was just so intense to, like, be up in the standing room, seeing the whole crowd. There was this mother and daughter that were, like, fully dressed up in, like,
Mm,
nautical kind of, vibes, like 50s style. The little girl had, like, a red ribbon in her hair, and her mom was wearing, like, little, like, sideways 50s cap, and they had, like, the big skirts and the shoes and everything. It was so cute. And, I was just, like, looking at my friends, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is gonna be us, like, in a
mm,
whenever it comes, but at
sure.
some point, like, we're all gonna be on stages
We're
like
gonna be
this,"
on that,
and,
yeah, on
that
a
was really
stage.
cool. And so then I was like, "Woof, waterworks,"
You
and
probably look at it with a different set of eyes when you're
mm,
going through the classes that you're going through, right? As opposed to
mhm.
fully being like engrossed in the story, which I'm sure you are. There's probably still a little bit of you that's like, oh, how's that? There is that where their mark is that they have to come and stand on to deliver their line, or what's this process like, or this follow light, that sort of thing, right?
Right,
Do you
yeah, I'm, like,
still?
in my head like a sports announcer. I was like, "Okay, it looks like he's gonna start using direct movement. He's moving direct, he's moving direct, he's moving indirect. Wow, there he goes. He's so far away from his target, but he pirouettes back. Incredible. He hit
The
his mark."
crowd
Like,
goes wild. Interesting. So it's probably even more than I expected, like that you're paying attention to that sort of thing and having to look at it
oh,
and
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, because it's like it's it's really helpful in a couple of different ways. One, because it reminds me why I am doing what the heck I'm doing right now,
sure.
which is always great to, like, have your motivation consistently brought back up by
Of
seeing
course.
performances.
Yeah.
Um, Also, because I'm in school for theater and it is my profession, Broadway tickets are a tax write-off.
Oh, nice. Yeah, of course they would
Woo!
be. Yeah.
Right, of course, because I need to study my craft. I need to know what's going on in the industry. I need to be involved. The IRS fully supports that, so win. I love when that works out. But it's really nice to be able to see the theories that we're using come into play on stage.
Mhm.
Like the ones I was just referencing are concepts from Laban, which is about movement. It's a study of movement.
Okay.
And so there's like 6 different categories, including direct and indirect, strong and light, fast and sustained,
Mm,
fast and sustained, or quick and sustained. And they are obviously opposites, but you use them in different ways to get different effects, right? And so we don't really think about movement that intensely when we're doing it all day, every day, but
Mhm.
it's like the difference between when you're looking for a remote because, you know, you don't know where it is, you're gonna
Mhm.
kind of move indirectly around the room trying to find this object that you're not really sure where it belongs, versus like, oh my gosh, my TV is playing something wildly inappropriate. My
Mm.
mother-in-law just walked in,
I
direct
need to
movement,
really
get that remote,
quickly.
get the TV off.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very different experience. And so to see that played out like on stage with the context of a storyline and watching professional actors and actresses and dancers use these concepts to tell the story when they don't have speaking parts, right? Because not everybody's talking
Sure.
all the time. Um, were just really impactful and like really helped drive a lot of those concepts home. So that was really cool.
And it's their movements that you'll do in the same, even though they're opposites, you'll do them in the same motion, right? So like it'll be a fast movement here, but then kind of a sustained as you maybe walk around somebody else kind of thing. The
Right,
same.
yeah, so
That's
that was like
cool.
our
Okay.
first day of classes was kind of that concept. They'd be
Yeah.
like, you know, like, go say hi to your friend with urgency. Go say hi to your friend
Mm-hmm.
with quick movement.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'd be like, go say hi to your friend with strong movement, like you're supposed to have a conversation with them. And
Mm.
so then do kind of the same thing. And then since then it's been like, how can you combine these motion patterns to do different things or have different impacts?
Sure.
Which is really cool. And then it also makes you think about what you're doing in your day-to-day life, and that sometimes even though two things are opposing, you are doing them at the same time.
Oh
And that can
yeah.
be really impactful if it's done well, right?
Sure.
So that's really cool. Sadly, I don't have any clowning stories for you.
Oh darn. Yeah. Well, that's right. That's
Yeah,
one of my favorite teachers that you've got is
Nancy.
Nancy. Yes.
Yeah, she's great. Um, we were supposed to bring in like a headpiece for our
Oh
whole goal
yeah.
throughout the semester is to build a clown character.
Mm-hmm.
And
Because you had the
so
hat 2 weeks ago or
yeah. Yeah,
week
we got the
before last.
hat. We
Yep.
need to do, like, a neck piece or some type of, like, upper body thing now, but, we technically didn't get that assignment because we didn't have the class.
Mm.
So, yeah, we're working on that. We're
Mm-hmm.
working on that, but it is a lot of fun, and comedy and improv is really hard when you're trying to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
And also sometimes they don't let you use words in that class either, so you gotta use all movements and interactions or gibberish or whatever and, like, let people build a story, which is really fun. Um, yeah. So
Hmm. Very
here we
cool.
are.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
nice.
yeah, so it's been good. And then I'm hoping because this week is what we call a reset week, so we don't have any regularly scheduled classes.
Hmm.
It's all makeups for classes that had to be canceled because the professor was unavailable,
Performances. Yeah. Right.
performances, the auditions for Midsummer, and then we're doing several seminars. So last week we had a tax seminar on Thursday. So they just went over actors' taxes, how do you file taxes, what are
Oh,
write-offs,
okay.
what aren't write-offs, like can you do percentages of certain things? And then he was like, he we didn't get into ethics really. He was like, if you don't personally suffer with that ethical dilemma of whether it's 100% true or not, that's entirely your choice, and
Hmm.
I cannot legally advise you on how to make that decision, but it is in your hands.
Yeah.
And we were
Oh,
like, right,
interesting.
okay, got
Okay.
it.
Hmm.
I see. um, and then there was like, because somebody was asked, it was about makeup, I think. They were like, how do you prove that you only used 50% of your makeup and it was exclusively for work purposes?
Right.
And it goes, that is an ethical dilemma for you to decide on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's,
Hmm.
it's like the albums that I have to buy for Coverville. Do I buy any other albums? Yeah, but do they influence the music that I choose for the show? Yeah. So are they
Right.
all a
And
write
can they
off?
maybe technically be used in a show later on that I just don't know about? For sure.
Absolutely. Yep. Exactly.
Nah.
So no, yeah. You always got to think about that sort of thing and think, all right, well, these are the hard, fast lines. Which of these lines are gray and which of these ones can I cross easily? Yeah,
Right. Walk the line like Johnny Cash.
exactly.
Yeah. And he was just very funny. He's also been friends with our creative director for a really, 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 really long time. Um, and it's just like it's so fun to be in this industry, but it's also cool to like be able to network and have those opportunities, also get that education of like these are the taxes that we do and that kind of thing. So
Mhm.
um that was super fun. Um and very helpful. And
Do you
then next week
feel
is we have vocal health and something else.
okay?
I
Oh,
get
that's
to go
good.
with that.
Like how to maintain your voice, take care of your voice, it seems like, oh, there should hopefully be some good stories on that. So this
Right.
upcoming week, since it's kind of this reset week, do you feel like it's going to be a lighter week and let you get caught up with other things, or do you feel like there have been enough classes that have to have gotten postponed that it's really just going to be as busy a week as all your other weeks have been?
It's definitely gonna be less busy than a
Good.
normal week, but more busy than any of us were hoping for.
Okay. All right. So yeah, it's going to be lighter, but not as light as you want it to be. I gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because there have been a lot of, like, our professors are in the industry, right? So, like, they've missed because they have performances or they're
Sure.
producing or directing a show or, lots and lots of
Yeah.
things. Like,
Somebody has to
my
appear on
Levant director,
SVU down the
Catherine.
street. Yeah.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So they gotta go be doing things, they gotta be at the Gershwin, which is our attic. That's the joke they make, is that we are in the basement of Wicked. Um, and so, there's just gonna be a lot of, like, classes. Sadly, the ones that were rescheduled are also our heaviest classes, like,
Mm,
they're the ones that are the most content driven and focused, so,
sure.
um, kind of intense on that front. However, um, they're also all performances that we're gonna be doing
Mm,
anyways. So it's I mean, I like having the consistency. I don't know how I would feel about a reset week because I feel like I would lose track of everything by the time the next week came and I'd
right.
be like discombobulated, but who knows? Um, but we're also doing a clothing swap. So all of
Mm.
us can like bring in clothes we don't wear and just like switch them out with clothes from
Oh,
other people.
that's cool.
Um, Oh, and then the other one is Alexander technique, so going over, like, your literal body structure, which, like, my god. Um, I gotta tell you, a lower back over 25 is very different than a back slightly over 18.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I'm like, "Whatever advice you guys can give me on that, please."
It's funny. It sounds
Um,
like it's going to be a PE class, basically.
yeah, essentially. Yeah, phys
Yeah.
ed for
Yeah.
sure.
Wow.
Um That's gonna be fun, and
Okay.
then I started vocal lessons. I think I'm supposed to have one next week, but it depends because I took one over for one of my classmates who is sick, so I think they might be taking that
Hmm,
next session over from me, but who knows? I'll
okay.
probably get an email. We'll find out. So,
Cool.
it's not gonna be on Monday, that's for sure, because we don't have school on Monday, so
Oh,
woo!
right. Columbus Day, yeah, or Indigenous Peoples Day.
Indigenous
Yes.
Peoples
Yes.
Day, thank you very
I'm sorry.
much.
Yes, exactly. The stupid calendar that I have still lists it in the old
Yeah.
incorrect way.
Well, so does my phone, and for whatever reason, it's like, "Oh, I'm gonna put it on here 11 times." It's like Columbus
Mhm.
Day, Columbus Day, Columbus Day, Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day, Indigenous Peoples Day,
Yeah.
Indigenous, and then none of my activities are actually listed
Right,
on the
because
short
there's
string,
not
and I'm
enough
like,
room for all that. Well, let's do this. So we're going to something we haven't done yet before, which is invite
"Mm,
people to send in questions. I think the best way to do it is
yeah,
to either email me at coverville@gmail.com or to put it in the comment section of the videos, preferably this
yeah."
video. If you have a question for Rainey, then I will ask it to her on the next episode. I know we've got a ton of listeners or viewers for this thing that aren't just family. We get family is the small portion, and we've heard a lot of feedback from family, which
Woo!
is great. But then there's this whole other contingency of people who are watching this, which I really love to see. So if you've got a question for Rainey, get it to me either at coverville@gmail.com or post it as a question in the YouTube comments, and I will review those and get those questions on next week's show.
Yes, please, that would be
Cool.
awesome.
Awesome. Well, Ray, have a great rest of your weekend. And
Thank you, you too,
always a
and
pleasure talking to you and learning about all this stuff.
yes, say hi, give lots of loves and kisses to the family.
You know I will. And
Um,
you're going to see some of them in a week. You're going to see your
yeah.
dad and stepmom coming out to see you, so that'll be
Yeah.
nice.
I don't know what day they're coming, I should clarify that. Anyways,
I think they're flying in
look at me being on
Thursday.
top of things.
I'll help you out and I'll
Thursday.
tell you that they're flying
Thank
Thursday.
you so much, I
No
appreciate it. Oh,
problem.
I'm sure you guys chatted about that at your
Of course we
dinner.
did. Yes.
Of course, but of course.
All right.
Okay.
Well, Rady, have a great rest of your day. Thanks for being here and thank you for
You
watching.
too.
We'll see you next
Love you,
time on Uncle
bye.
Cousin. Bye-bye.
Bye.